Welcome to Fireteam Chat, IGN's Destiny show. Thank you so much for joining us. Joining me in the studio today is CJ Gibson.
What's up?
Fran Mirabella.
Hey, Guardians.
And Stev Rue is back.
What's up, everyone? Or chomp chomp.
Oh,
No.
hey.
Yeah,
you got to sort it out, man. Got to
Sean's
sort it out.
Big show today. Warmind was revealed over at Bungie. So let's break it down. On today's show, we are going to be talking about our reactions to the reveal. We're going to be talking about a lot of the PvP changes, and we're going to be talking about Escalation protocol and what we think of that event. So let's break it down right away. Warmind was officially revealed. We got a trailer. We got a PvP exotic sandbox tuning adjustment breakdown from Bungie. We got a look at Escalation protocol, and some of the community creators that were out there posted some videos with some details. So on my piece of paper, which I'm going to read right now, we met Honorbre. We learned about Nokris, Rasputin, the Glory and Valor ranks. There's 45 collectibles to chase, tons of new exotics, and some weapons are coming back like Stros Regime. We're getting some new guys like Huckleberry, and we think Sleeper Simulant is on the way. What are your overall reactions to this reveal? CJ, we'll start with you so you can actually talk today.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I thought it was actually really good. I think that this was the reveal that they needed to have. It was really weird when they postponed or canceled the other streams.
2 tokens and a blue.
That's 2 tokens and a blue. This is pretty much like one of the first. I mean, they did the Bungie bounty and a couple little things, but it was nice to see them back in the streaming chair. And yeah, all the little details from exotics to PvP and ranked. Those are the kind of things that I've been wanting for a while. So yeah, I'd say it's overall positive.
Yeah.
It's cold in here.
This is a weird producer thing, but shout out to Scott. I like the new set. I like the presentation. I like that they had different people in talking about the different aspects of the game. Yeah, and it was nice to get insight from like all those people. And
yeah, it was cool that Vicarious was on as well.
Yeah, definitely. So overall for the reveal, Fran, what did you think?
Yeah,
Are you excited? Did it do anything?
It's what I'm absolutely excited, and what I would say it's like very clear it's a big update. I'm not feeling anymore like it's sort of in that Curse of Osiris territory in terms of as an entire package. Yeah. You know, again, you got to separate. There's expansion 2, which is new content that you have to buy, and then there's all the updates that are coming with season 3. But all as one package. It's actually quite significant. There's a ton of new exotics, like you said. Yeah. Brand new mode. We are getting the Raidler. We didn't see anything from that yet. Yeah. New planet. We don't know how big, but it's big. Yeah. I'm happy about that.
To your point, like we saw this stuff on the stream, and that's just part of it. They sent out this huge press kit that has a ton more information about it, about all the exotics that are listed. Screenshots from the strike. That's where we learned about Nokris, for example. Yep. One of the new enemy types that we're going to, enemy bosses that we're going to be playing.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of stuff, like Raid Lair and everything else like that we know is in the pipeline, but we didn't get a chance actually to see. So it's cool. There's still more stuff to actually, react to overall in there.
Yeah, and I didn't see anything about another stream. Right? Like there's nothing else coming as far
They haven't talked about that yet, no. I mean, and we're really only a week and a half away from it.
Usually it's like 3 streams leading up to it. They did this one, and I think that's all we're going to get.
Yeah, I'm not expecting another stream.
Yeah, we do know the content creators have a stepped embargo, so we might see more information from them.
And that's actually nice. And what I will say that I really appreciate, because we mentioned that a couple times on the show to Lars and those guys, like the dev videos in there showing the different versions of the exotics and the updated tuning and what they're able to do, like that's really nice. They've never really done that before. So I
Tractor cannon!
Oh, there it is.
It's going to be great. I can't wait.
Yeah.
And John talked about the adjustments for PvP versus PvE and how it's like, I'm just really excited.
Yeah. So and they've I know you are, and they've never really done that before. So little void burn. I know you're into it. But seeing them do that is kind of, I think, taking the place of multiple streams. So that's really good. I like the fact that they're doing that on a weekly basis.
Stephen Rue.
Yes.
What did you think?
I'm optimistic. I'm pretty excited for this update. I don't think it's going to be a game changer though. We have to wait until September for that, I think. Judging from the people who went to the summit, everyone seems like they seem pretty excited about September. They seem a little lukewarm on this one. Yes. So I'm a little lukewarm as well.
Gathalion responded to my tweet. I'm like, I'm pretty positive. I'm really excited about it. He's like, yeah, you probably shouldn't be. That was basically what he said. He's like, you're looking for September. September is going to be the big update where our feedback can actually be implemented by.
Right. Exactly.
So my overall take on it is, I don't care what Gathalion says. I love you, dude. But I'm still pretty excited about this update.
Yeah,
I like that
I'm
we're
pretty
getting
excited.
collectibles to chase.
Yep.
I really, really like that. I like these new exotics. They're bringing back Armamentarium, which is one of my favorite Titan exotics from D1. That was basically my loadout. The Horde mode, I'm sort of so on. Like, I'm okay about it.
Escalation protocol.
Yeah, Escalation Protocol. But the weapon rewards that you get at 3, 5, and 7, hand cannon, shotgun, sniper rifle. We'll talk about that in the next segment. That is really, really exciting for me. And these the glory and valor changes to PvP. There's a lot coming in this update. In addition to the exotic sandbox tuning, I think we're gonna get a glimpse of a new game and what we're going to be set up for in the fall with this update. They're still not correctly fixing the vault. They're adding 50 slots, though. So that is a step in the right direction. The thing I'm not excited about and I'm worried about is the campaign portion of the experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think we're going to get a Curse of Osiris-like campaign where it's just kind of by itself. The strikes will probably be in there again, and I think that's why they kind of glossed over it. But yes, Anna Bay is definitely what we're going to
Everybody's
affectionately
referring
call
to
her as.
Anastasia Bray, yes.
So that's our overall take about just the reveal and what we're expecting.
Yeah.
Fran, you want to say something?
Only just that I think you got to put on two hats, which
Yeah.
is, I don't know, it's the hat Gathalion's wearing right now. He's playing a lot of other games and enjoying it. I think a lot of people say that, ask that question, like, should I come back and should I play? I think he's more on that other side, which is like, it needs to be significant to draw him back in.
Yeah.
But for players, I think like us, I'm not sure about Steven. He actually plays more than us every week sometimes.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
like
I
a silent
still
player.
play. I
Yeah.
He surprises me that he plays hours a week. But my point is, for those who are really still into playing, it seems like the update's significant and to be excited about. But if you're like, should I come back to it? It's probably like, well, we'll see. There's a few things to do. Raid Lair could be cool, but I think that's what people are saying. Wait till September.
I've really changed my perception about like how I play Destiny now. I don't play it like super competitive or anything like that. I go into Crucible, I mess around with Tractor Cannon.
Yeah.
I just try and have a good time. I try and have a good
What a
time.
troll.
And
Exactly.
and like if I haven't done the raid in a while because I haven't had a need to. There's stuff that needs to be fixed about Destiny, but if you
Yeah.
just kind of
It's still
calm
fun.
down and just take it, like you've been grinding out the strikes, for example.
Yeah, I mean,
Crazy
I've been
guy.
grinding out Nightfall.
And he's
strikes.
getting them,
it's,
though.
Yeah, it's stuff to do. So again, if you're on that level,
Yeah.
maybe you don't want to go for 5 hours on a strike to get a weapon, but on that level, there's going to be a lot to do. It seems like, and I know we're getting to it. There's these Crucible Masterwork
Yeah.
weapons. Sorry, exotic Masterwork
Yeah.
weapons.
Yeah.
So there's
They're
stuff
changing that system.
that we're gonna have to change or chase, and the power levels and all that. So meaning as that type of player, I think you do have something to be excited about, but you do have to have bought expansion 2.
So
Yeah.
and before you go on, I think the issue is when you hear the Gathalion remark, I think that's basically, hey, you didn't adjust the TTK or the 2 weapons, and a primary. To me, like that is what that translates to. So there's still a lot of good stuff. People didn't see that.
And
Positive all around, I think, but that is a fundamental thing that especially the PvP crowd wants changed.
yeah, I think he's just like, hey, like, don't expect something revolutionary. Don't get too excited. Don't
Yeah.
overhype because you should manage your expectations.
Yeah,
I think that's
and the
what he's
PvE
it's obvious to
realistic
me.
about.
Yeah, and the PvE guys want that too. I mean, that it's not like PvP only is. There's a bunch of things that people are commenting on that they would like. But I think I'm glad that the and we'll talk about it after the PvE. Just forgot the name of it again.
Escalation protocol. I know.
Escalation protocol.
We're gonna get into that
A lot of
right
different
now.
things. Is that I appreciate that it's a little bit more Court of Oryx-esque. Like I actually like that. I think in comparison to Prison and potentially the Archon's Forge option, I'm glad they leaned more into this where it's a public space thing rather than a contained environment.
Yeah, it's like a really big Court of
Yeah.
Oryx or Prison type thing. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
Here's the exact tweet, so I'm not misquoting Goth. I'm not going to lie. I'm really hopeful this is me, that Destiny 2 Warmind makes enough significant adjustments to keep me coming back. Iron Banner has been great this week, and I can't wait to have more to chase. May 8th, we'll learn more tomorrow.
Said Destin Legary.
Said Destin Legary. Gathalion says, it won't. Not for more than a few weeks. Look towards September. That is an exciting time for Guardians. And I said, frowny face. Then he said, don't be bummed. DLC 2 won't be an Osiris level letdown for those who love Destiny and want to play more. I think it'll offer a month of stuff to come back to. This fall is for the everyday hobbyist.
Yeah. And
So,
expansions
just to give
normally go
context.
that way, though. So, again, like, I think that's what I was getting at. It's expectation setting.
Yeah.
Some people, I think, were hoping that Expansion 2 might fix Destiny 2 and completely get it back on its feet. Like, it's not going to be that. But
Yeah.
it does feel like it's closer to, wait, we're a little more back to, it's hopefully a good expansion. You know, just back
for
to that.
those who believe that it's broken, because there are a bunch of people, and I feel like we don't represent this side of it very much, who actually genuinely do like Destiny 2 as much or better
Ryan
than
Malkowitz,
Destiny
he hops
1
in every day.
all the time. Still strike grinding.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk about the other mode that was revealed, one of the primary modes that they were talking about, and that is Escalation Protocol. It's a new horde mode. A lot of people are describing it as where you fight waves of enemies and then you get a reward for completing different sections. You get a reward at 3, 5, and 7, and those rewards are Ikelios weapons that include a hand cannon, shotgun, and sniper rifle. Those are just which we know about. They look really distinct. They look like cool weapons. And I like the grind with these, that you're being rewarded for completing stuff. Sort of like an
Yes.
I hope it's not quite like Archon's Forge. These actually seem desirable and unique enough, but as long as they don't fall into that weapon.
How do you know that though?
Well, just looking
Because
at
we
them
get a
in
lot
their
of
perk
weapons.
trees, but I'm saying if they fall into that archetype problem where I'm just like, well, I already have a sniper rifle that does this and this. Why do I want that?
Yeah.
So right away, Steven, you don't like to interrupt people, so I'm going to let you speak first. What did you think about Escalation Protocol as we've been talking about?
Well, the community's been
That's
asking.
fascinating, but here's
Exactly.
what
So
He's the new CJ.
new CJ.
Yeah.
I mean, the community's been
Exactly.
asking for a horde mode since
Yeah.
Destiny 1. So this is pretty exciting. I'm just worried as a predominantly PvP player, I feel for the PvE guys. So because once you do this mode and get the weapons, like what else does this DLC give you?
Yeah, you're going to have your raid layer, you're going to have your strikes, and hopefully unique weapons and whatever else to chase in the strike.
Yeah,
like
like-
you need a weapon per strike. That is my biggest piece of
Yeah.
feedback for Bungie. Do not give us sparrows and stuff.
I
Those
feel
are
like
additional.
I feel like you need multiple exclusive rewards for each strike. Like right now, the Nightfalls, you get one thing, the DFA from that one strike. But if you could get the DFA, a ship, and a piece of
ghost.
armor,
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah,
That's how it used to be.
yeah,
That's how
it used to be like that. And like,
shower us with loot.
yeah,
But
and-
but in a way that where you're grinding or you're being rewarded by doing something, not just hey, here's a bunch of tokens that I'm gonna like click
Yeah,
the slot
yeah, yeah.
machine at.
Totally. And,
and-
so the way they're doing it is great.
Yes.
there's no more random rolls. So once you get the DFA once, it's like a checklist. You're done.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but like,
DestinySets.com. I use it all the time. Yeah.
Oh.
done. Ding.
but I'm excited. I don't think they've showed us everything yet in terms
Yeah.
of PVE.
Yeah.
They haven't showed us anything in terms of the campaign.
Yeah,
but
we
I
don't
do
know how that
agree.
plays out.
I
Yeah.
do agree with Destiny. It's probably because it's kind of like Curse of Osiris. It's not going to live up to our expectations.
But then the
my
raid layer
opinion.
too, it's hard to actually show that and preview it before the event. Like they don't typically do that.
Curse seems the only thing I would caveat there, and like I don't know. This is where everyone's like, "What a shill, man! It's gonna suck. It's gonna be as bad as Curse." I get it.
No, I don't think that's
because all I mean by that is I feel kind of demoralized from that too. So I
From
feel-
Curse.
yeah. But when
Curse
you
was
guys
a punch in the gut. It just took
Totally.
all of
Yeah,
like
I'm with
I
you.
remember
The Lord.
writing that review and I'm like, this does not
So
feel good.
Let
to
me finish
write.
my point, which is it felt really rushed, and I remember playing the opening 30%. I was like, wow, there's no real design. It just felt like they dropped in some people out of the engine. Like it was almost like there's a button in the engine that it just clicked and people like fell on the map.
Yeah.
For the first part of it, it was a little better towards the end. But anyway, where I'm leading to it, I would hope with that knowledge and mistake in hand that this plays a little better out the gate. Whether it's longer or whatever, I don't know. But I would hope. How could it not be a little better than
Yeah.
that? That's all I'm saying. I mean,
I
my
always-
expectation is not that low. I think I'll be like, oh, okay. It was short, kind of going back again to previous expansions in the world of Destiny. I hope that it was like short. I wish there was more, but I like that part of it, and that strike's cool. I hope to be back in that world, even if it's not like a huge.
I always say they need to eat some humble pie, and I think they have been, and it's doing a lot with the community. Like, okay, Bungie's recognizing that what they're doing is not working. They're being more transparent with the community. I saw you respond yesterday to
Yeah.
one of the community guys who was quick to respond about
Yeah,
a question.
Typhoon Trav. He's one of the one of the streamers in the Destiny community.
Trav.
He had some issues with trials and how it is right now.
Yeah.
And he asked for them to just take it out for like a season maybe and rework it.
Yeah.
And DMG replied maybe an hour later
Yeah.
on his personal Twitter and said, "We can't do that because of this."
'Cause it's
Something
tied to
about
achievements
achievements.
and
Yeah.
trophies.
So that's why we can't disable it, but we are working on it, and that is awesome. Like
Just
waiting
knowing
until
that they're reworking that
yeah,
system.
like
Yeah.
waiting until Thursday for that information kind of sucks.
Yeah, and even Tocom, like I hit up Tocom
Yeah.
too, and was like, hey, and we'll talk about PvP after, but it's like, what are the chances that a different game type mode might make its way into the competitive? And he's like, hey, appreciate that, probably not right off launch, but we're looking at it. So yeah, they've been very receptive to engaging with.
Yeah, and I hit up the PvE guys, and they don't talk to me. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Just kidding. No, like I reached out to
that's,
John. I reached out to John Wisniewski, and I was just saying, like, it's a really small thing, but he actually thanked the gameplay team for doing the capture
Yes,
of
in the
all these
videos.
exotics.
Yeah.
And
That was nice.
having a team that does gameplay at IGN, I know how hard we work on that stuff.
Yep.
So it's just I thought that was really cool of him
Little
to do.
positive
and
reinforcement.
and to hear like how much he cares about the weapon tuning and like reinforcing.
And did you-
Because they probably just muted their Twitters for the last 2 months when it got so bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
And now they're getting positive stuff now again, so they're communicating more, and I love seeing that.
And the way John talks about each of the weapons on stream, it's like a mad scientist. Like I actually really like it. He's like, well, let's take a look at this like here and the way it reacts, and watch this. And it was really cool. That part I really enjoyed because we've not really got that level of in depth with seeing exotics before in previous games. So, but you're just making a tractor cannon. I can see your brain like he's thinking, yeah, I can't wait for the tractor cannon.
But to finish off the point that we had with Steven was I don't know that I expect more out of the escalation protocol.
Yeah.
I'm not going
just
to need to remember or I'm gonna screw it up. I don't know that I expect a lot more out of it than what I got out of maybe prison for a while, or even I don't know if it'll even be that much.
That's right. It's
I
like
don't
it's like we're
expect
getting
more than
prison
that.
or Court of
Or Court of Arc. So I don't
Yeah.
really expect more of that. And the same thing with the story. I don't really expect more than
yeah,
a
I
little
mean,
bit
I don't
than Curse
either.
and maybe.
Yeah.
So, but that's why I think it does lead us to what have they put in the game, and am I going to chase this amazing exotic masterwork because it's the new gun or whatever it is. Like DFA made me chase it. It is a really good hand cannon. It was cool looking.
Yeah.
If they have a little more of that, those modes you're going to intersect with, by the way, because to get the new exotic catalyst you need, you got to go back to that mode. So will there be enough of those spaces to go to now in this world? I don't know, but I'm not really expecting it to be game changing.
The javelin's pretty cool.
But that's
Javelin
why.
looks cool.
That's why when you talk
Put in like a token and get it.
Sorry, that's why when you talk about the campaign, though, to me, it's like, there's a part of enjoying the campaign from a lore and like just like the way it felt, but then there's also it wasn't challenging. I don't think the campaign's going to do that this time around as well, because I think some of the big issues that you see online is solo guardians versus 4-stack queue and PvP, or getting into teams with the PvE activity. So campaign is the solo
point.
game.
Don't
right?
forget they did
Yeah, but
talk
now-
about the
yeah.
new progression loop and how they've adjusted that. Like, I hope it's not falsely extended, but if the grind is just feeling good and like you're progressing slowly in a smart way, the way you kind of did in Destiny 1, that's gonna feel great.
But they gave you like difficulty levels in Destiny 1, which I do not think that they're going to do that in the campaign. And so that's the challenge.
You
It's
have
like,
your knife.
you make-
have hard
yeah,
knife or normal.
you do.
You make a good point. It was a little dishwater,
the
for lack of a
park,
better word,
yeah.
in Curse, because it was kind of easy. Walk through the park.
It was.
I think it was interesting, though, that Vicarious took feedback at the community summit, and people wanted Escalation to be harder. And
Yes.
They just had a few days to do it. They made it harder. I'm hoping that translates to campaign, but you make a good point. I hope it's not too easy.
Yeah.
Campaign's gonna be okay. Like, it'll probably offer a little bit of difficulty.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to run through it. It sounds like that's just based on what Bungie's told us. By the way, I don't know. I didn't play anything.
but to me,
I
that's
told you guys, right, that I finished the Curse of Osiris campaign in 30 minutes.
that's
yeah.
nuts.
30 minutes.
But that's because I think that it's super hard probably for them to design something that can scale up to 3 people if you have a fire team, but then still be able to be manageable as one player. So if they're not going to introduce a difficulty level, I understand they're probably going for lowest common denominator and going, hey, we can't alienate these solo people, and we're not
For
including
sure.
like a
And
level,
you
right? So-
I agree you have to balance it, but I hope
there's some
same as what I said
mechanics or
before.
something.
It's gotta be
for
better
sure.
than Curse.
Yeah.
It's gotta be. Please be.
No, I know.
to go back
Alright.
to go back to the if you don't mind, to go back to the grind part, what worries me with Escalation, and I have the same problem with the Nightfall right now, is I don't want to grind where I have to do the same Nightfall 50 times to get the same drop.
Good point.
That's
And
not
I
a
also
grind.
don't want to grind mats.
Yeah.
That like the sword quest, don't do stuff like that. Make the grind a good experience. Like
Yeah.
kill what enemy types. That was actually an example that we're going to talk about right now. So one of the grinds they brought up are how you're going to get exotics and how you're going to get legendaries. Gigs basically is saying, hey, if you're not willing to put in the time or you're not good enough, you're not going to get the weapons anymore. And that is exactly how Destiny should be. So that when you're wearing that raid equipment, you are a bad in the tower, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it needs to be. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, I will say, because many people in the comment section say this over the last couple weeks, you cannot get the raid armor from clan engrams. You only get weapons. So
You're right, but I have 500 tokens, and I just on my hunter, I've never run the raid. I have a full raid set because I went there and I popped in 100 tokens, and I have the full set. I don't even need to play the raid.
But not armor, just gear.
The armor.
Well, no, you can
The
buy
full
it
set.
from Banshee, but you got to buy it with raid tokens. So you did play the raid. You didn't
right.
necessarily earn it in the raid. That's the trick.
Gotcha.
But you're right. You don't just get the drop.
Yeah. So that system maybe, as well as clan engrams and how that works, for sure, they could potentially have something though. So it's not, hey, I can pop in my tokens and get it without having a specific drop at a location.
I had to run it once so I could buy it.
So you could get it. But to me, that's the thing. Like, that's what I really enjoyed about Destiny 1 is that just thinking to King's Fall, it's like, oh, the Ghost was available at, Red Blue Room, or even like Fatebringer and Vex. Like, Vex is available at Atheon. I hope they do more of that with each of the armor sets as well as specific weapons.
Well, specific weapons, one that the community is talking about right now is Redrick's Claymore. It's a legendary pulse rifle that Giggs has been talking about a lot, and it's a reward for obtaining glory rank Fabled in the Crucible.
This is going to be for PvP players.
Yeah, so that's for PvP players. And I remember Trials of Osiris in Destiny 1. What was the AR that everybody wanted?
Doctrine.
Exactly. With perfect balance, and that's the role you wanted. And if you didn't put in the time in Trials, you didn't get it. And you know what? That was a fun chase for me. Anybody who wants a handout in Destiny, you're hurting the game. Because there's no...
I agree 100%.
No, you are hurting the game. And if that's the feedback you're giving Bungie, you're going to get Destiny 2 vanilla. And that's not what we want. We want those chases. And if we have those, players are elevated to a new status where they look cool and they have a desirable thing that you want to chase as a player.
Yeah, and right now I think, that's what Steven and I talk about. The only challenge with this is that once you get it, because there's no randomization and there's no way to really improve it, it's off your bucket list. And if they do something along the lines of random rolls or whatever the incentive is, I think there's definitely going to be, you'll have people going back to these things daily, weekly, monthly.
Yeah, it is really interesting. It's almost like Trials, actually, in this Redrick's example, because you have to play Glory. Glory's the one that comes with penalties for loss, death streak losses, etc. So if you're playing Valor and you just want to rank up and show that you play Crucible, that's what Valor's about, and you don't get penalized for that, right? But meaning to get Redrick's, I believe, right?
In
you can
Glory
only get it from Glory and make it to that level. And you're rewarded for playing 3 times a week. There's decay. So they're really meaning if people have Redrick's, I think we're going to be like, dang, man. I want that. They have really been playing, though. I got to play 10 hours this week. But that's what we used to have to do.
And I will say this. I'll play devil's advocate a little bit. It's still team shooting, and they haven't adjusted the PvP model.
Gameplay itself.
The gameplay itself still needs to be worked on, and they know that, and they are working on that, and we can expect that in the fall. But this is a great setup to have something to grind for, to play towards in competitive play.
Yeah, I agree with you, Destin, 100%. I think the system is great. I think actually it will bring some people back to try out the system, but after maybe a week or two, that same gameplay, that same overall TTK, it's still going to turn people off.
That's what's going to hurt it.
And I don't think the exotic tuning, it's not going to change the actual TTK. So
well, unless there's a weapon like Hawk Moon or Vigilance or something maybe that comes to the forefront that dramatically changes the TTK, but you're right. I know what you're saying.
But that's not changing the overall
game.
Yeah.
I hear
Well, let's talk about one thing that is changing with exotics, and that is the Masterwork example for exotics. I have written down here, you must kill enemies after you get the Masterwork, so you have to do more work once you get it. And that's actually a really smart design decision, because it forces you to use the weapon, kind of know how to use the weapon, and then you have to go into Crucible with the new thing. And to unlock the goals, Bungie wrote, these objectives will vary in difficulty and length. There's a hint on your menu when you mouse over the Masterwork, and it'll give you a hint about what you have to do. And they're going to vary in difficulty and length, but will not be determined by RNG. So that's great. So you basically put in the grind and you get the thing. The goal for these objectives is to push the player to engage with the weapon that they wish to make into a full Masterwork. So ideally, kill things, but you're not grinding Spirit Bloom.
Right.
And that's great. I think that's a really, really smart gameplay decision. I'll see how frustrated, if I get frustrated and mad about it, if I get frustrated and mad about it, that's something they can tweak, but this is a good first step.
So
this system sounds awesome. I'm all for it. But the problem with this system is if there's an exotic weapon that isn't very good, there's no point in doing that then. and I
Sure.
hope every exotic weapon is desirable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think they're working
That's
on
my
that.
only problem with
Yeah.
that.
That's what they're trying to show with like Skyburner Oaths upgrade and all that. So I think it's really important that everyone understands. So for starters, you already have a ton of these exotics. So the way they have addressed this, which personally I wish they didn't call it a Masterwork, because I find it a little confusing because Masterworks might drop. These don't do that. What happens is you already have the exotic, and you're going to have to get what's called the catalyst to drop. Once you have the catalyst, you are now engaged in the quest to get the masterwork of the exotic. And from what I understand, right, there's only one. You're not going to roll handling, and you're not going to roll reload. It is one awesome god roll exotic that you are on a quest for.
Yeah,
right?
you don't get the exotic. You're not getting a new exotic. You are getting the piece of the exotic called the catalyst, which will upgrade your existing exotic. You still level it up
To
by
the next
infusing stuff.
part of the quest.
Yeah, to the next part of the quest, which the example that they show is kill X amount of enemies and fill up the percentage bar. And then you have your masterwork exotic. So you know how to use the weapon. You've figured out via Reddit or IGN's wikis, ign.com/wikis, how to get that item. And now you have this really cool weapon. And I think they're doing it for all of them, right?
Yeah.
So I cannot wait to try out my old exotics again with these new perks.
And what's interesting, I think if you read between the lines and the way they put it, they're like, well, bounties aren't until later, but we have these. These are kind of bounties for those exotics.
Yeah.
You remember how we got Thorn and stuff in the past. So I think it's in the model of that. So I think actually that's well handled. And if it's a god roll exotic, like you were saying, I think that could be awesome, having to do this crazy chase. And actually, I forget which part of it. Within there's RNG on some of those elements. I think it's the catalyst. That's what it is. Some guns, you can get a catalyst easily. Others, there's RNG. If I read that correctly. So I feel like we could end up in a world where you're like, man, I've been trying to get, I was thinking about Crota, and trying to get the, what was it called that dropped? Help me out.
Hunger of Crota.
No.
The orb?
For the
that you had to-
necrochasm.
Yeah.
What was that called?
I don't
the
remember, dude.
husk of the pit.
No. It was the thing after that. Whatever. We're all
I know what
going
you're
to
talking
regret saying this. So anyway, to get it to drop from Crota was that moment where you kept playing the boss to get it. So maybe there's stuff like that. I'm optimistic that that's the way it's being
To
handled.
piggyback off that, though, I'm not 100% sure if this is confirmed, but I heard that part of the quest, they won't tell you what you have to do.
No,
They'll
there's a
just give
hint
you
in
tip.
your menu.
Yeah,
There's a
they'll
hint
just
in
give you a hint. So it's like a big community Easter egg.
Right.
It's
And I
great.
think- and I think that's something in Destiny 2 is missing that Destiny 1 had, is the community did things together. In Destiny 2, I feel like the community is not doing anything together.
Yeah.
Like I'm blanking on the name, the Pulse Rifle.
Oh.
With the whole
Outbreak Prime.
Outbreak Prime.
Yes. Yeah.
Community came together,
One of my favorite
got like
moments from DP.
all the binary code. That was like a community event.
Yeah.
And I hope these bring that back.
That's what I read between the lines too. It sounded like that. Black Spindle certainly did like. I think I was talking to CJ or someone. I was like, I felt like they had up on the board. They're like, are we doing something like Black Spindle? Okay, yes.
Yeah, for
Are we doing something that's like Sleeper? Yes.
yeah.
Well, people
I
are
think they've done
saying,
that. Yeah.
people think that Sleeper is coming back because all the weapons are sort of designed that way. And like Reddit's been being like, I think this is Sleeper. Like, look in the back.
Crux of Crota.
Boom.
That's
what it
the
was.
crux.
CJ
So,
remembered
thank you.
something today.
I was literally.
Thank you for saving us the crux.
So, and that I was just going to mention it because it's like, oh, what was that called back in the old days? It was, the Blades of Crota. And so that moment with like, you had something that House of Wolves where the wolf pack was prowling. And so, you got the Husk of the Pit to drop.
Hive
and,
Sword
run
is
the
coming
raid.
back too.
Yeah. And
Hopefully a bit like
something like that. So that was good. I like those too. And there was definitely not enough of like, anticipation or hype before the game kind of got to its next phase. So I hope there's a little bit
Yeah,
more.
and I brought it up because Necrochasm was very hard to get.
Yes, it
and I
was.
think
You
we're
know,
gonna run
fun
into
fact, I still don't have Necrochasm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got it. It was hard.
I tried to get it. I just couldn't get it.
So let me just kind of wrap up the show by saying I'm really excited about the May 8th update. And that is because we are getting a new expansion. We're getting a new modes and new things to chase in that mode. But in addition, we're getting significant sandbox changes that Destiny desperately needs with the exotics, the exotic masterwork cores, the PvP glory versus valor. We have new legendaries to chase in PvP and in PvE, utilizing these new events. We have a new event space, which I haven't even talked about that much, but the space itself looks larger or more interesting than the Mars Circle, or not Mars, sorry, Mercury Circle that everybody was calling.
Yeah, hopefully you can use your Sparrow.
Yeah, and you can use your Sparrow, I hope.
And shout out to their design team. It looks beautiful.
does,
as always.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh God, like I don't talk about it enough. The sound team is still rocking it. The design team
It's
is doing
Bungie has
really fun.
always done that beautifully.
Yeah. And the only probably negative to it is that I think again people were wishing for a new faction or a new enemy
New
to
enemy,
play
yeah.
against. It's like they're
Yeah.
like, oh, Frosted
We're
Hive.
still-
It's like
They're
Okay.
revisiting faction rallies. Don't forget
Yes.
that is going to happen next season. They're just doing a
There's
lot
a
of
lot
work
coming.
right
Yeah,
now.
there's a lot of good
and
stuff.
they're just setting up the game to get the base where it needs to be for September. Any final points you guys want to make on this side? Not CJ.
PvP.
Yeah, no, feels like what you said. This is almost like a big beta for September.
Yeah.
We're starting to play some of the elements and a lot more to come. But I am excited on that front, and I think it's a good way to look at it. This is, in a way, they're testing a lot of the big ideas for later. Now's the time to get in there and check it out.
Yeah, I also don't want to be a hype machine. Temper your expectations because we did get that warning from Gatali, and he's saying, "Hey, look, like this is like 2 weeks of content." Well, he's been there. He's played it.
Gathalion, warning. Gathalion, warning. You got the-
Yeah,
I'm like,
he's like, "Whoa,
it's like a
just
broadcast
careful."
system.
Well,
that
remember
shows-
with Curse, I remember Crucible Stars. You guys were stoked based on what Bungie had shown. I'm like, guys, I played it. You might want to chill a little
No,
bit. Just
totally.
wait for the
I'm
reveal. I'm not
joking.
going to ruin anything. for you.
Yeah.
I'm just laughing because I feel like you're like really throwing Gathalion under this bus a little bit. Like, where he's like, he warned you.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's his fault now if,
No,
if
it's
like, you
not.
do or don't like it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, to clarify
love
though,
Gathalion.
I think all of us think that this is going to be substantially better than Curse of Osiris, though.
Oh,
Substantially is a
See,
big
your
word.
tune has changed.
Overall,
Before
I'm
you
not,
said,
I'm
I
not
don't know
talking
about the
like
story.
I'm not talking about the campaign itself. I'm talking about just overall as a DLC.
Oh, man.
this will be much better than
Because
Curse of
That's
Osiris.
it. It's season 3. It's not expansion 2. It's all combined. I think you
Yes.
can't look at them apart. If you do, which is a different discussion, what about for those who aren't
Yeah.
getting it? Maybe we talk about that another
well,
time.
yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. There is a bunch of QOL things that are not actually in the DLC. Like the
That's what I said,
ranking
yeah.
thing is
Glory,
not in the
Valor,
DLC.
yeah.
Glory,
Private
Valor.
matches,
Those
et cetera.
PvP things, private matches, which again, we're gonna do a little 1v1
Yeah.
here eventually, and I'm
I'm
gonna
no way.
destroy you with my fusion.
Yeah.
Good luck on that.
Just like
You
a
got
little.
debuffs. CJ.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I will say that those.
Oh, you have a super? No, you don't.
Oh,
That's what the track.
whatever. Oh,
does.
we'll
He's gonna
see.
Get destroyed.
Are you hearing
It's
this, Lars?
so amazing.
Are you hearing this? Oh, you just wait. We're gonna
Check out
cue it
it.
Oh,
up.
it's Heather. Boop.
Oh, we're gonna
I know.
cue it up.
Also, check out a clip from I think it was Sir Demetrius that put up. He was tractor cannoning, and he just they're getting stopped in their tracks because it debuffs you.
Yeah.
So he's like, boom, boom,
it's awesome.
and he's just punching the crap out of
Good
anyone
stuff.
that walks in his way. So don't play with Destin.
But I'm going to crush him in 1v1. We are going to set it up. We'll definitely. And there's a bunch of
crush
community
him.
people who are excited about the fact that there is private matches. It's unfortunate that you have to have the DLC for that. But yeah, the PvE side of things, I think people will be satisfied going in there that there's something to do because right now you're not playing PvP and gating anything. You're just playing it. So
Totally agree, CJ.
Really
We got to
good.
wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for joining me on the
you.
show.
Thank you.
Overall, mostly positive about what we've seen this far. We'll give you a full breakdown, of course, on IGN and youtube.com/Fireteam chat. However, until next time, we got to wrap it up for today. Guardians out.
that was weird.
That was
Yeah,
staggering.
it was.
That was a good one. I wound it up.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Fireteam Chat. Hey, don't forget that you can actually subscribe right here and hit that alarm bell because you'll know when Fran, me, or CJ are streaming and when new content is posted. In addition, you can check out this playlist for all the latest episodes. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.